The referees literally turned their back.
Caitlin Clark appears to be hunted every game. The WNBA not stepping in to protect their cash cow, their only draw, their only star.
Many WNBA fans are calling out the referee problem.
What happens when the league that built you up suddenly turns its back? Caitlin Clark was supposed to be the WNBA's golden ticket, the record breaker, the face of the future, but now she's on the sidelines with a brutal injury, and the whispers are growing louder because what's happening behind the scenes isn't just strange, it's starting to look like sabotage.
Caitlin Clark will be sidelined for at least 2 weeks
with a quad injury.
Fouls her for the 4th time. It's cheating.
Rookie Caitlin Clark was subject to several intentional fouls.
Caitlin Clark is the driving force.
Caitlin Clark has officially been ruled out with a left quadriceps strain, minimum 2 weeks. But fans aren't buying the bad luck angle. Why? Because the injury didn't come out of nowhere. It came after weeks of uncalled hits, body checks, and blatant physical abuse on the court. And it wasn't just fans noticing. During a now viral clip, Clark and teammate Sophie Cunningham approached a referee begging for an explanation. The official didn't even make eye contact, just turned his back and walked away. That wasn't just a missed call, it was a message. And what followed wasn't just silence, it was fury.
After every single game, WNBA players, fans, coaches are all complaining about the referees.
Felines head coach Stephanie White, she was complaining about her team not getting a whistle, not being respected.
I'm going to the officials and trying to, ask for an explanation of what had just occurred. That official completely stonewalled him.
From the moment Caitlin Clark stepped into the WNBA, something felt off. She wasn't just guarded, like she was hunted. Full court pressure, elbows to the ribs, hits with no whistles. And through it all, the officials stood by like extras in a drama they refused to direct. The WNBA had its biggest star taking hits every game, and they did nothing. Clark wasn't asking for special treatment, she was asking for fairness. And when her own coach, Stephanie White, finally spoke out, she said what everyone else was thinking: I've had enough. The disrespect for our team is unbelievable.
It took us 4 games for Stephanie White to say, I've had enough.
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games.
And here's where things get truly disturbing. Dig into the WNBA's officiating system and you'll find it's not just flawed, it's broken by design. A large portion of referees aren't seasoned pros. Some came straight from high school leagues. No real development, no G League polish, just thrown into the fire of the most watched season in league history. And worse, they're not even calling games based on their judgment. They're following orders. A secretive competition committee made up of GMS, coaches, and league stakeholders tells referees how physical games should be, what style of play to allow, which fouls to prioritize, and none of it is about fairness, it's about control. Clark wasn't just another rookie, she was a force of nature. She shattered records, sold out arenas, and brought in millions of new fans. But with all that momentum came disruption. Clark didn't fit into the WNBA's carefully curated image. She sped the game up, drew all the headlines, changed the conversation overnight, and some people didn't like that. The league wanted her shine without the noise. So instead of protecting her, they let her take the hits, game after game, until her body finally gave out.
I did notice in the Liberty game, Caitlin Clark's shots were all very short, so it was showing that she wasn't getting off, and she was having a difficult time making those threes, and a lot of explosiveness from those 3-point shots does come from your legs.
The truth? Caitlin Clark became too big for the system, and that system pushed back. After the injury, the silence was deafening. No league statement, no accountability, no comment about the months of ignored fouls or mounting complaints. Clark was benched, and the league just kept moving, but fans didn't. They started digging, rewatching games, sharing clips, reposting every no call, every hit, every moment Clark was left on the floor while refs looked the other way. And suddenly, this wasn't just about basketball, it was about betrayal. Clark isn't the only one raising red flags. Brittany Greener stormed out of a live halftime interview to confront referees on national TV. Other stars and coaches have echoed the same concerns. Disrespectful officiating, inconsistencies, dangerous conditions, and still, the WNBA acts like nothing's wrong.
But at the same time, the Fever were on the wrong end of some whistles, it seemed, in this game, and it's seemingly been that way for much of the season, and it's been a recurring theme where there's a level of physicality allowed against them, and they're not allowed to reciprocate on the other end. That particularly, of course, goes for Caitlin Clark.
All right, when that foul took place, CBS said she's got a challenge left. Well, it didn't matter. She couldn't use it. Stephanie White could not challenge that foul call on Lexi Hull, the one that led to the game-winning free throws from Sabrina Ionescu, because she didn't have a timeout. You need a full timeout, not a reset timeout, to initiate the challenge. Now, my issue with that is it would have been nice if the CBS announcers hadn't even brought up the challenge.
The Fever's coach wasn't even allowed to challenge a blown call because she didn't have a specific kind of timeout, a technicality. Meanwhile, Sabrina Ionescu walked to the line for game-winning free throws off a foul that should have never been called. It's not about missed calls anymore. It's about lost trust. Can the WNBA survive if it refuses to protect its stars?
Obviously, Caitlin's carrying a lot on her shoulders, a big star that is coming to a lot of these buildings. And
who had appeared in 185 consecutive games between her career at Iowa and her time with the Indiana Fever. 139 games with the Iowa Hawkeyes. She never missed one.
Caitlin Clark drove over 26% of the league's total economic activity last season. Merch, ticket sales, TV revenue, and now she's sidelined, possibly longer than 2 weeks. And fans are already pulling back. This isn't just a PR problem, it's an existential threat, because when a once-in-a-generation star is treated like a punching bag while league officials hide behind closed-door policies and cryptic rule books, people stop watching.
The only draw in your league, the only player capable of selling tickets, is potentially out for an extended period of time. What the hell are you gonna do now?
This isn't about giving Clark favoritism. It's about giving her and every player a fair shot. The WNBA had a chance to build something extraordinary, a new era built on talent, energy, and unprecedented attention, and instead, it chose silence. Now the fans are speaking, the media is watching, and the pressure's rising, because this league can't afford to lose the one player who kept the lights on. The system failed her, the silence protected no one, and the fans, they're not going anywhere. Comment protect CC if you agree.
And what I mean by that is, you've got somebody who is obviously the most popular player in basketball. You got somebody that I would argue may be a top 5 most popular athlete in the United States of America. All right, you got this athlete in a league that nobody's been watching, never turned a profit, and your system is broken against that team.
Subscribe and turn on notifications, because the truth is just getting started.